All right, good afternoon, and thank you for coming here today, and thank you for all that are following us online. I'm Major Ed O'Carroll. I'm the Bureau Chief of Major Crimes, Cyber, and Forensics, the Fairfax County, Virginia Police Department. I want to extend, at first here, a personal thank you to the lead detective, Detective Smith. Thank you for your hard work. To our lead victim advocate, Specialist Kirk, thank you very much for your work in this case. Crime scene, our analysts, the digital detectives, cyber and forensics, thank you all. It takes a team, a very dedicated team. Also want to welcome and thank for being here today, First Lieutenant Aaron Weeks of my staff here in the Violent Crimes Division of Major Crimes. Recently promoted as her first work day as a First Lieutenant. Very special guest with us today is Mina, Hannah's sister. Thank you very much for being here today, and she'll make some brief remarks to you all. I am standing before you today with a sad update regarding the Hannah Choi homicide investigation that, as you know, and we know, we have been working nonstop since March 6th, 22 days ago. So on March 24th, just this past Thursday, a member in the Charles County, Maryland area located a deceased individual in Piscataway Park. After a thorough forensic examination, I am confirming the remains found are that of Hannah Choi. Very recently at this podium, I informed our community that our search and rescue team was out in Piscataway Park searching for Hannah. We utilized our search and rescue teams along with human remain detection canines from George Mason University and many partners. We combed through as much as we could of the 800-acre park. While we had not found Hannah, we remained committed to searching every inch of Piscataway Park. Our detectives last week had coordinated a search effort for this past Friday. I am confident that that search would have very likely led to a law enforcement searcher finding Hannah. We are thankful for her discovery, which brings a sense of closure in this case. But Hannah has not been the only person we've been searching for the past 3+ weeks. We are looking for Hannah's killer, Joel Mosso, 27. Joel is Fairfax County's most wanted, and he is on the run. We will not stop until we find Moreno. Joel, if you're listening to me, turn yourself in. Surrender on your terms at a time and place of your choosing, or be arrested on ours. You can tell your story, and you enjoy a presumption of innocence. And to our community, we need your help finding Hannah's killer. I am announcing a new incredible reward leading to the whereabouts and arrest of Moreno. Thanks to the generous donations of Hannah's family, friends and neighbors, our community, I am announcing a $40,000 reward. Anyone with any information that is shared with law enforcement about the whereabouts of Moreno, where he may be living, staying, or likely hiding from law enforcement that leads to his capture is eligible to receive this reward. So if you have any information about his whereabouts, please call us immediately. You can call us directly at our Major Crimes Bureau at 703-246-7800, or through our partnership, our strong partnership with Fairfax County Crime Solvers at 1-866-411-TIPS. I can't stress this enough. My staff is determined to find Hannah's killer. We will not stop until we find him and bring him to justice. As I previously shared, there's 2 active arrest warrants out for him. And this search is not only in Fairfax County, but around the country. We need to bring him to justice for this crime. The late Hannah Choi, our victim, deserves him caught and brought to justice. I'm going to turn the podium over to First Lieutenant Erin Weeks, and she'll go over some details of this active investigation. Lieutenant?
Thank you, Major. Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Erin Weeks of the Violent Crimes Division. As Major O'Carroll said, we are here today to provide an update on this incredibly sad case and to offer reward information that leads to the arrest of this killer. I would like to bring everyone up to speed on this tragic case and provide a bit of background. Hannah Choi was first reported missing on March 6th when her friends noticed that she had missed some appointments. Ms. Choi was last seen the 5300 block of Jesmond Street in the Alexandria section of Fairfax County. Our officers searched the house, which appeared to be in order with the exception of some bedding that was missing from one of the bedrooms. Detectives soon learned that Ms. Choi spent the evening of March 5th with her live-in ex-boyfriend, Joel Mosso Merino. It was during that same evening we believe something happened between Ms. Choi and Moreno, and Ms. Choi sustained a significant injury. We believe the 27-year-old Merino then removed Ms. Choi from her home and transported her body to Charles County, Maryland. The vehicle Merino was driving that night, Ms. Choi went missing, was found on March 7th in Washington, D.C. Detectives discovered evidence within that vehicle to suggest Ms. Choi was harmed prior to her disappearance. Warrants for second-degree murder and disposal of a body were obtained for Merino. And that was based on additional interviews and the investigation as a whole. Our fugitive track and apprehension unit assumed the investigation and learned that Merino was supposed to fly out of Reagan National Airport on March 8th. He never showed up to that flight. We later learned that he fled the state, and at that point we contacted the United States Marshal Service. Our initial investigation led us to Piscataway Park in Maryland. As the Major said, we searched more than 800 acres of the park for Ms. Choi on March 11th and 14th. We now know that Hannah Choi's body was found by a passerby on March 24th. The Fairfax County Search and Rescue was slated to expand its search that same day to the area where Ms. Choi was found. The medical examiner's office and the Charles County Sheriff's Office were able to make a positive identification this past weekend. The result of the autopsy is pending further examination. We still have questions about the night of Hannah's murder and disappearance. We believe Moreno has answers. We also believe Moreno needs to answer for his heinous crime. If you know where Moreno may be found, or if you have any clues that you can provide to our detectives, please call our tip line at 1-866-411-TIPS. It's 1-866-411-8477. You may also call us directly, as the Major said, at 703-246-7800. The family has put a significant cash reward for information that leads to Moreno's arrest. The family deserves closure. This is a case where a violent offender needs to be held accountable. We need your help to do this. I want to thank the Choi family for taking a proactive approach in this case. I also want to offer my sincere condolences and pledge that we will continue to work this case for closure for your family. Now I would like to introduce Mina Choi, Hannah's sister. Out of respect for privacy of the family, Mina will not be answering questions at the conclusion of her statement.
Sorry. Afternoon, everyone. As you all know, my name is Mina Choi. I am Hannah Choi's little sister. and I am here to speak on behalf of our family. First of all, just want to thank everyone here and our community who has, shown incredible love and support over the past couple weeks as we are going through this tragedy. We are also incredibly thankful to the police department and everyone who's been involved in trying to help solve the case of my sister's disappearance. It doesn't bring her back, but we are very relieved to have at least found her finally, so the family can get a little bit of semblance of closure. I always knew my sister was a social butterfly. She had so many friends and connections, and really the past couple weeks have really shown us, particularly, how much of an impact she had on the people's lives around her. We will always remember her as someone who is brave, strong, independent, and someone who dedicated her life to helping others. Hannah's been taken away from us and from everyone who loves her. Present tense, we all still love her. Cannot begin to describe how much we're all going to miss her. But, as the Major said, there's still work to be done. Her alleged killer is still out there. And we just ask, that anyone who has any information on his friends, acquaintances, whereabouts, potential hiding places, we ask that you please come forward and please help us bring justice for my sister. Thank you.
Thank you, Amina. Again, in closing, on behalf of Chief Davis, the entire Fairfax County Police Department, our deepest condolences. Your words are empowering to us in law enforcement. We hope they're empowering to the community. Moreno needs, and that $40,000 reward, if it's an incentive, let it be an incentive, so we can bring final closure and get Hannah's killer off the street. And with that, I will take any questions that you may have.
Major, can you touch again on his known whereabouts since then? I know previously the Atlanta area, and then the airport, the flight that he didn't catch. Any updates to that?
Yeah, that was a pre-purchase ticket prior to the murder. And we were waiting at the airport. We were waiting on the aircraft on the tarmac. He never flew to California. What we do know, and I've shared it previously, he did flee and was seen down in the Atlanta area. We've got him on video surveillance. So we're tracking him. Where he went from there, something, and will give us some additional clues. We're working hard, but we really need a break in the case, and that's an anonymous call, someone that wants to be known, anyone that has a little bit of information to give us a little bit more data. But our last sighting is in Georgia.
Do you believe that he's still in the country?
So I've been asked that dozens of times since we got these arrest warrants, and my answer is always the same. He could be anywhere. He could be in Fairfax County, back in Fairfax. We know where he did go, but he could have returned to the state of Virginia. He could have left the country. All options are on the table, and that's why our net is far-reaching. But the law can bring him back even if he's fled. So we're doing a nationwide APB.
Since Piscataway Park, any additional cell phone pings?
So we did, as Lieutenant went into a little bit more detail. Hannah was found on Thursday We had planned a very massive, a third massive search to more area of Piscataway Park with a little bit more finite data, which I think would have probably put a police officer where that community resident was that particular day. So we are looking at that. So we know where he was that night, right? I mentioned previously we know they went out to dinner. We have verification of that. We knew he went to Piscataway Park. And you know what? And these aren't hunches. We're not guessing. We thought she was there, and sure enough, she was. So we're going to look more at Moreno's footprint to find out maybe where he fled to. He's somewhere, and somebody knows where he's at. You can hide, but you can't hide for long.
Can you provide any more information, evidence that suggests he is the suspect?
Yeah, so what I did say is that we had an abundance of evidence, and our detective team from our crime scene section looked at it. We did analysis on it, and there was an abundance of probable cause that existed then, and even more exists now. And what we do in law enforcement is cause. An arrest warrant or arrest warrants were obtained. It was an abundance of probable cause. But Merino has a story to tell. That's why, I attempted to speak to him today. If he was watching or listening, come tell us. A very, very clear picture of very likely what happened that we can present in court. He'll enjoy a presumption of innocence, but tell us your side of the story.
Does he have family locally? And have you guys been able to speak to them?
So we've talked to a lot of people that knew him. The one person we didn't get a chance to interview was Hannah, right? So that's what's heartbreaking about this case. He was in Hannah's life for a period of time and amongst friends and family. So we've talked to a lot of people. After the night he killed her, he fled. But the way law enforcement works and the way our community comes together on a tragedy like this is we solve cases, and we solve it with the community's help. That's why we need that tipster. If you don't want to give up your identity, you can remain anonymous. Call us.
Can you confirm, and forgive me if you said this, if he is an immigrant, and if so, which country he's from?
Yes, I don't know his immigration status, but what I do know, he was living here in Fairfax County. He was actually living at the same residence. We talked about the relationship that they were in, kind of on again, off again, that kind of relationship. So he was a resident of that home until that night, and he decided to kill Hannah, dispose of her body in the state of Maryland, and then flee like a coward.
Has he lived in California previously? Is that possibly why he was headed there?
Yeah, so we do know there's some associates in California, and you're right. Just like I said, he had a pre-planned trip there, and he was likely going to take up residence there. So we're combing that area very extensively, because that's a place he had determined to go prior to committing this murder. So we're actively looking in the southern part of California. But if you pin these on the map, Virginia, California, and Atlanta, where we know, that's probably the highest probability of where he might be.
Why is there any investigation into why he chose this park in Prince George's County, down in southern Maryland, sort of? It's not really close to where he was. Does that suggest that maybe there were other accomplices or somebody that might have helped him or knew of that area?
Yeah, that's a great question. So having been to Piscataway Park, I was with our search and rescue team. I thanked them for what they did last week. It is a remote area, large park, and as I said before, if you go to the shoreline, when you look across the Potomac, you see Mount Vernon. So it's directly across from Fairfax County, but you get there by driving over the Woodrow Wilson coming down 210, and it's a trip. So he went there purposefully to dispose of Hannah's remains, I believe. Now, the evidence that we uncovered Thursday tells us that that's exactly what happened. To the finer points, when we're sitting across the table from Merino, he'll have a chance to tell us a little bit more detail.
Is there an early indication of how she died?
Yeah, I'm not going to disclose any intimate details of what's come out or what will be kind of coming out as that autopsy was done, cause and manner, waiting for some official rulings by the medical examiner in Maryland.
Are there family ties to these three locations, Southern California, Atlanta, and Virginia?
No.
Can you share any more details about the motive? I know you said they potentially got into an argument.
Yeah, so, Sierra, that's a great question. There's some things, as I think the lieutenant said it well, we'll probably always have some questions about this case, until we get a chance to talk to Moreno. He tells his side of the story, because I tell you, what we have now is an abundance of data and details that tells a sad situation had unfolded, and that body was transported, and Hannah was laid to rest in Piscataway Park. So we're still waiting for some more information to come in to get those finer points.
Two more questions, guys?
Might not be two more, Howard. That might be it. Thank you for coming. And in closing, our deepest condolences. These cases are tough, especially for the family and friends and loved ones. So thank you for sharing your very powerful, your words. And again, our condolences on the murder of your sister. Thank you.